Welcome to Kairos Research Center podcast. Christian faith seeking understanding, intellectual witness, and spiritual renewal.
Okay, coming there, a lot of talk about intelligent design. So we would like to ask you, can you help explain this idea of the intelligent design to our viewers?
Okay, before we talk about intelligent design, just to set the context, today we have this dominance of the theory of evolution. Not only evolution, atheistic evolution, undirected evolution, which the Christians find unacceptable. You guys say there's no God. But then, apart from just poking holes, finding fault with the theory of evolution, the question asked will be, what alternative theory can the Christian offer? We have to offer an alternative theory that has the same explanatory power and also can provide avenues for investigation. And the two, fine-tuning and intelligent design, in a sense, they can come together. Except that intelligent design, the way it has unfolded in biological sciences, gives a certain more concreteness. In universe, you cannot touch it, but biological system, you can examine at close range. So what is intelligent design? So intelligent design says that there are certain features in the universe and of living things that are best explained by an intelligent cause rather than by an undirected process such as natural selection.
Okay.
And then
not by evolution.
Not by natural selection of evolution.
Okay. Yeah.
So in a sense, you will say that how do you know there's something intelligent in the design? That's the whole question.
Yeah, okay.
So the premise really is to say that something that exhibits not just what is intelligence, complexity, specific complexity is the word, will point to intelligent design. So in that sense, intelligent design says that you look at natural system, they cannot be explained in terms of undirected natural causes because the features that you see are attributes of designs, or you may use the word irreducible complexity, which I will explain more with one or two items. Okay. And the famous examples given by Michael Behe, mousetraps. Mousetrap, because it's a very convenient example, or the bacterial flagellum cell, the motor that drives the cell around. So the whole point is we have to examine all this system firsthand, meaning we look at the system, they are so complex, they cannot be evolved piece by piece. They must all be combined or created at once. This is called irreducible complexity. Now, if you have a system that is irreducibly complex, it cannot just come by chance. It has to have an intelligent cause. And there are many scientists who actually have been arguing for this, professional scientists, Michael Behe himself, well known, you show you a photo of him, Walter Bradley, Nancy Pelosi, Charles Texton, who wrote about the origins of life. So there are many scientists who have taken up this increasingly popular, more plausible explanation of the complex living system that we see around us. So
if I can interrupt, so you are saying that the organism, the cell, is so complicated, so complex that it could not have been evolved. Is that correct?
The reason is this. You have a single system, but you look at the system more carefully, it's a very well-matched, mutually interacting parts that form a basic function. So that if you remove one item, just one item, the whole system will collapse. So this is called irreducibly complex system. And you cannot produce them piece by piece. They all must be combined one shot. Missing one part, the whole thing becomes non-functional. That's what it means. Okay, just give an example of the mousetrap. Okay, look at the diagram of the mousetrap. There are various parts. You have the catch, the hammer, the spring, the holding bar, of course the whole platform to make it stable. Imagine, can a mousetrap function without the spring? Just one item, cannot. Or if the holding bar is not there, is there a mousetrap? It's no longer a functioning mousetrap. The whole system must be working seamlessly, flawlessly, all at once, and must be assembled all at once.
So the analogy means that, in the mousetrap trap analogy means that the hammer must have one line of evolution, and the catch must have another line of evolution, right? So by themselves, right? And then finally, there has to be someone to combine them together.
Well, I wouldn't want to, at this stage, want to conjecture, speculate how these things originated first. All I want, considering at the moment is that in front of us is this system, irreducibly complex system, functioning flawlessly. As far as we know how complex systems operate, they don't evolve. We can deal with that different evolving parts in another question if you want.
Okay.
But for the moment, just focus on this thing called irreducibly complex system. Now the mousetrap, you can talk about the different parts altogether. But let's go to what nature actually does. And the famous example is the what you call the bacteria flagellum. If you look at bacteria, they are protruding filaments that rotate around. They are the motors, that drive the bacteria through the different solutions. Now, you have about 40 different parts of different protein structure and so on. You can look at them and see. You have the diagram in front of you, the filament tail. The filament tail can rotate 100,000 rounds per minute. Now, this, even at that speed, therefore, your car doesn't go 100,000 rounds per minute. Your speedometer is the meter. So, it's a very small, 45 nanometer, 45 of a million parts, meter, 45 of a million meter. Super small. So you have in the motor, you have the stator, you have the rotor. So you have the O-rings, the different rings in motors here. So you look at the parts, 40 different parts. From the membrane structure, the whole thing's in place, the ring structure, the whole, the motor that allows it to rotate, and then instead of gears, you now have the hook to transmit the motion and enable the simple cell, to move around. Now look at it. This is super complex.
So meaning that because this organism is so complex, right? It implies that there is a designer.
Well, let's call it just intelligent design.
Okay.
Not designer. This is a remarkably intelligently configured system. And as far as we know, things don't. If you have a printing press, there's an explosion, and suddenly you have Shakespeare's play at the corner. Is how likely is this going to happen by chance? Likewise, if you look at life, I show you this diagram of the simple cell. The simple cell is not that simple. You look at the different parts of the cell, from the cytoskeleton to the nucleus that is the control center, and the mitochondria that converts food into energy, and the RNA, DNA instructions. All you have also the programming parts that ensure that the whole system works flawlessly in reproducing itself, in sustaining itself in life and reproducing itself. So, now, mousetrap already difficult. Flagellum motor, lagi more difficult. Now you have this living cell. Even if you talk about the RNA, DNA, how they are able to replicate themselves, it all cannot be by chance. What do you mean by chance? It cannot be random. Some intelligence cause must have put them together. But of course, the moment you talk about intelligent cause, I think it puts the scientists on the defensive, because now you are extrapolating beyond science. But talking as scientists, we don't use that phrase. We just say, are there indications, are there signs, are there evidence of intelligent design? Whereas in the teleological argument, the designer argument, you try to find the designer. When we talk about intelligent design, we're not trying to we're not trying to search out the creator or the designer. We just say, can we detect design features? Follow the evidence. We're looking at the evidence. What is a final causation? We leave that aside for the time being. And that's why some of the answers in Genesis don't like it. They think we're compromising the position. The fact is, we are not. We are just saying, in some learned discourse, you must be modest about what you can claim based on the evidence that is right in front of you. And the evidence in front of us says that there is the kind of intelligence. How do you detect this intelligent design? Now, Dembski, who did his PhD, I think in Cambridge, I think Stephen Mayer. So I met him actually when I was studying there. And so he based on his thesis, he says the feature of design, two qualities, complex and specific. So he comes up with a kind of algorithm to detect intelligent features, so to say. So what is complex, what is specific? You take a single letter of an alphabet, it's very specific, A or E, or I or U. A single letter of the alphabet is specific, but not complex. Then you have a long random sensor, abaraga, So that is complex, but it's not specific. But what can combine specificity and complexity? A Shakespeare sonnet, his poem, Shakespeare sonnet, is both complex and specific. So with these concepts in place, then you say, how do we apply them to detect design? So he comes up with this chart. You look at the chart.
Okay.
We have a system in front of us. He says, look at his behavior. Is it highly probable? If it's predictable all the time, probable. They say, like you mix certain solutions together, you get crystallization. You just follow certain chemical laws. So this regular behavior, probable behavior, you can easily explain it in terms of scientific, natural laws, so to say. But there's some way that is less specific and less probable. Yes, no, maybe when you toss a coin, how many chances I can get this to my one-arm bandit machine, which I never play, by the way, just so that you know what, So intermediate possibility could be chance. When the ball goes on the roulette wheel, what are the possibility it will land on this number? It's all chance, but it can happen. But there are some items that are specific, but highly improbable. So it has specific and very small probability based on what we talk about, irreducible complexity. So we say here is a chance of design. So this is a nice algorithm, if I might say. He calls it explanatory filter for detecting design in the universe. Let me repeat that. Crystals follow specific laws, so there are laws. In between, jumble, gobi, do good. Use an English phrase. They're complex, but no specific information. This by chance. But Shakespeare sonnet, molecular machine, E. coli of Salmonella, they're all marvelously functioning systems that's specific and complex that can only come about by intelligent design. So basically, if I repeat that, specific complexity and irreducible complexity are reliable indications of design. And if there are all these biological systems at play, then we talk about design. So you look around the world, contrary to the claims of the evolutionists, all this existing system points to intelligent design, which we think is a better explanation than random change, so to say.
Okay, good.